Okay, so on the Nearpod for today, you're going to be reading, watching a video and then reading an article about never giving up. So you want to watch the video and then click this next slide that will take you there. So when you get this, you're going to see there's a PDF viewer. You can click this and it will open up the PDF. So the article is a quick note on getting better at difficult things. Ta-Nehisi Coates is an American writer, a journalist, and an educator. Coates is a correspondent for The Atlantic, who often writes about cultural, social, and political issues, especially as they relate to African Americans. In this text, Coates discusses how to get better at difficult things and shares his own struggles learning a new skill. As you read, take notes of the obstacles that the author encounters and how he overcomes them. I have been studying the French language with some consistency for 3 years. This field of study has been all at once the hardest and the most rewarding of my life. I would put it above the study of writing simply because I started writing as a 6-year-old boy under my mother's tutelage. What that means is teaching. I always felt I could write. I did not feel I could effectively study a foreign language. But here I am right now in a Montreal hotel. I spoke French at the border. I spoke French when I checked in. I spoke French when I went to get lunch. I don't really believe in fluency. Fluency means that you use it often and it is easy to speak for you. And easy to understand. If there is such a thing, I don't have it. I mishear words. I confuse tenses. I can't really use the subjunctive yet. Something has happened to me, and the something is this. I have gotten better. I don't know when I first felt it. I didn't feel it this summer at Middlebury, despite the difference in my entrance and exit scores. I didn't feel it when I first arrived in Paris in January. I felt it, as I always feel, like I was stumbling around in the dark. I still feel like that. But I also feel like I am getting better at stumbling. I am emphasizing how I feel because when studying, it is as important as any objective reality, meaning studying how he feels is as important as his reality. Hopelessness feeds the fatigue or being tired that leads to the student to quit. It is not the study of language that is so hard, so much as the feeling that your present level is who you are and who you will always be. I remember returning from France at the end of the summer of 2013, being convinced that I had some kind of brain injury which prevented me from hearing French vowel sounds. That's like A, E, I, O, U. But the real enemy was not any injury so much as the feeling of despair. That is why I ignore all the research about children and their language advantage. I don't want to hear it. I just don't care. As Carolyn Forche would say, I'm going to have it. Meaning that it doesn't matter. She is still going to go for it. She's still going to try. To have it, I must manage my emotional health. Part of that long-term management beyond French is giving myself an opportunity to get better at difficult things. There is absolutely nothing in this world like the feeling of sucking at something and then improving at it. Everyone should do it every 10 years or so. I don't know what comes after this. I have said this before and we'll say it again. Studying French is like setting in a canoe from California to China. You arrive on the coast of Hawaii and think, wow, that was really far. And then you realize that China is still so very far away. Feelings come and go. Likely someone will say something in the next hour or so, which I do not understand, and I will feel a little hopeless again. But right now, I feel high. And one must savor those moments of feeling high because they are not the norm. The lows are the norm. The struggle is the norm. May it ever be thus. So you're going to answer a question on here. And then the last slide is, how does paragraph 4 contribute to the development of the ideas in this text? So you would go back to paragraph 4 and read it again. What the question is asking. How does it contribute? How does it add to his ideas or what he's wanting to share and how he goes about doing it? So does paragraph 4 add to his feeling, the idea that he doesn't want to give up? I am feeling how I feel because when studying, it is as important as any objective reality. And here is neutral. Hopelessness feeds the fatigue or being tired that leads the student to quit. It is not the study of language that is so hard, so much as the feeling of your present level is who you are and who you will always be. I remember returning from France at the end of summer of 2013 and being convinced that I had some kind of brain injury which prevented me from hearing French vowel sounds. But the real enemy was not any injury so much as the feeling of despair. That is why I ignore all the research about children and their language advantage. I don't want to hear it. I just don't care. As Carolyn Forche would say, I'm going to have it. So how does that add to the author's ideas of not giving up and working on getting better at difficult things? So put that in your own words and you are done.